the park with friends to play some frisbee, a very normal thing to do, right? Looking to the left, however, an Indonesian family having a big picnic, and to the right, a group of young men skating on the pavement. The scene of a normal public park on a sunny day is very diverse and vivid, with different users. It's not the same park for everyone, but it's multiple. The park is not only a park through its spatial configuration, trees and some grass, but it's a social product as well. By playing frisbee and picnicking and skating, people act as social agents and produce the space through their everyday action. People are making places, both intentionally and unintentionally. This is not a one-way relationship, though. People are making places just as places make people. The park is thus relational. It offers certain possibilities, but may constrain others. Just because of its spatial or political features, things such as barbecuing or camping might be forbidden in certain parks. It can be a place of freedom and self-expression, or a place of surveillance and control. This also illustrates that the park is not neutral, but political. Not everyone visiting the park has the same possibilities. Not everyone going to the park has the same status in society and the same power. And thus, not everyone going to the park has the same ability to access, use, and make the space. This is especially true and often problematic for refugees. Due to uneven power hierarchies, refugees often face particular restraints in terms of their access to and their participation in the various social and physical spaces in the city. The capacity of refugees to participate in social life and shape space, for example in the case of the public park, is often constrained by the political nature of space. This does not mean that refugees don't engage in placemaking, but that they do so in different, often innovative ways. Likewise, the constraining nature of space is not fixed, but politically negotiated, and refugees often attempt to rework, resist, or sometimes even revolutionize existing inequalities and power geometries in the city through their space-making dynamics. In response to the growing movement of refugees to Brussels, certain areas of Maximilian Park, for example, have been remade into places of encounter, support, and solidarity, thereby challenging the exclusionary political strategies. Similar placemaking initiatives could also be observed throughout Europe. Although all social actors do engage in placemaking, the dynamics of refugee placemaking have been hardly studied, thus neglecting their agency in the making of place and forcing them into a seemingly passive role, thereby excluding them from a city-making imaginary. To bridge this gap in research and illuminate refugee placemaking in European cities, we therefore ask, what are the differences between refugee placemaking activities in public spaces compared to semi-public spaces that are specifically dedicated to them? Comparing placemaking activities in public spaces with those in semi-public spaces, like a refugee cafe or places of encounter, we aim to outline who uses which kind of spaces for what kind of activities and purposes, as well as how those are embedded in the overall urban context. Going beyond the physical, it's also important to outline the perceptions, influences, and power dynamics in those places, as well as how they impact usage patterns, types of users, and finally, placemaking. At time of writing, these prove to be multiple, diverse, and context-specific. While semi-public spaces provide a more level playing field for placemaking practices, thus enabling certain activities, the top-down structures within those spaces may also be limiting to some user groups because not everything is possible within a given space. Public places, again, while opening up a wider range of possibilities for different actions and types of placemaking activities, leaves refugees more prone to discrimination and uncertainties stemming from power inequalities. What connects these places, however, is their innovative nature. In light of top-down, forced constraining circumstances, refugees find their way of making the place, of claiming visibility and thereby becoming active in the shaping of the city. It is therefore important to question the passivity in order to rewrite the exclusionary narrative of refugee placemaking. Adopting a broader notion of placemaking agencies can inform more inclusive practices of planning and urban governance. Recognizing this diversity, not prioritizing one use over the other, but catering different needs and experiences of different groups, may be one means to open up the city for all its users, meaning all the ones who shape and make the city, or relating back to our initial example, the park.